Good morning, everybody. Thank you for tuning in to another shitty day, and I am happy as hell to have you guys back. Whether you're listening to this in your car, you're watching it on your phones or your TV, or while you're taking a shit, or whatever it is that you choose to do while watching this content. It has been a cold one, let me tell you, it has been a doozy. It's been snowing in each and every direction. There's ice everywhere. The roads are slippery as hell. We have had our snowstorm. I got locked out of my house a couple times. Are you or somebody you know stuck in the predicament with no way out?
Did you cheat on your girlfriend and don't know what to do about it?
Well, you're in luck, buddy pal, because you can call the Shitty Advice Hotline and talk to the hotline voicemail because I don't actually answer it. But I will play it on an upcoming episode of the podcast.
And he'll give you his best advice.
Shitty Advice with Shitty Bill.
At 615-680-9453.
That's 615-680-9453. If you need shitty advice,
Call Shitty Bill.
That's right. Bye. I also didn't have power at a time. Went down yonder to Mama's trailer. Begged her to let me stay there. Her stupid piece of shit boyfriend told me that he didn't want none of what I was trying to sell. So I had to find shelter in a dog house. What I didn't put together was that there might be a pack of dogs that would come back wanting to have their shelter back. And that is exactly what happened. I just had to have surgery on my ass because they ripped me a new one. And Mama stuck her head out the window and saw what was going on, and she didn't even try to do nothing. And she sent Buck out there, and of course Buck just made it worse and didn't even try to damn help. And luckily I had a pack of bologna in my truck, and I had to start tossing them, and I was pissed as hell at the time, so I threw them on Buck, and them dogs jumped on him, and they almost shredded that boy to death. And then I had to go to the hospital, and they had to sew up my behind because they said that it looked like them dogs almost gave me a new beehole. And then I'd have been taking a shit out of two sides of my ass and had to buy a custom toilet. That's right, I have a vape. I'm stressing. I'm not perfect, but at least I'm not doing something much harder right now. Well, today I'm here to talk about some bullshit. I'm pissed as hell because Mama called me over to her trailer and she said that she needed some help because Buck's on disability and he can't do nothing. Uh, so she needed me to help her around the house. She said that it was about to get even colder and she needed me to patch the hole up in the roof that I put on there from shooting up at her ceiling, and that she needed me to go capture the raccoons that had been chewing up under her trailer trying to get in because they's cold, and that Buck needed me to hang some stuff on the wall for him because he's only 4'5", and anything to help Mama. That's the only reason I was there, to help Mama, not for that some bitch Buck. So I get there and I do everything Mom was telling me, asking me to do, and she said, "Bill, I know that you just moved into your trailer, You're half wide. And you probably ain't ready for no company or anything, but baby, quite frankly, it's cold as hell outside. Colder than a witch's titty. Um, Colder than Jack Frost's butthole. And there's a little guy, little feller outside, Trash Can Tim. He ain't got nowhere to go. He's been sleeping under Mama's porch, trying to keep warm, and he keeps accidentally lighting the garbage on fire, and he needs somewhere to go to get him out of this cold weather. And so Mama asked me if I'd be willing to take him in for a couple of days until after the snow comes and goes and melts, and keep him company and keep him warm, so nothing happens to him. And honestly, it took a whole lot of talking me into doing it because I look, I'm not trying to be mean, but who the hell wants some stinky little feller that looks like a garden gnome on the hard shit coming and living in their half white trailer? Nobody wants that. I mean, he has a pet possum that follows him around. Um, he has just bags upon bags of garbage that he's always hauling around in the shopping cart, and he's got a smoking problem, and he's always asking for money or scratch offs, and I just didn't know if I could find it in my heart to do anything for old feller. And I told Mama no. I'm not even gonna lie, I wasn't gonna have this man in my house. I don't know him. He's basically practically a stranger. But then I started feeling bad, and I was leaving Mama's house, and I saw him over on the side of the road, and he's chain smoking cigarettes and scratching them little tickets off, and something just became of me and told me, Bill, what would your daddy do? Your daddy would take this man in, he'd get him cleaned up, he'd keep him warm, he'd help maybe find him a job, and then he'd get him on his feet. And Bertha, what would you have done?
Well, I never would have let a homeless man that smelled like a sweaty nutsack move into my trailer anyway. Stupid.
Well, you're probably right. You're always damn right. And you talk so damn much. You're very knowledgeable. So I rolled my window down and I said, Hey Tim, you want to grab your stuff and come stay over at my trailer for a couple of days? Just a couple of days until all this snow melts. He got this big smirk on his face and grabs his stuff, and he comes and he throws it into the back of the truck, and he gets in, and let me tell you, he smelled so bad. I mean, I've gone a couple of days without showering before, and scratch a little bit and give it the old scratch and sniff. And I had, I had a little bit of swamp ass, but let me tell you, this was on a whole nother level. He smelled like Andre the Giant made love to Oprah Winfrey in a garbage can. I mean, he smelled like two sewer rats went swimming in a bucket of slop and then air dried in my truck. He smelled like a possum crawled inside of a hooker's butthole and died. It was bad. So I rolled down every window I had, and I said, light them cigarettes, chain smoke, because I'd rather smell them cigarettes than smelling your damn swamp ass. And he had the balls to apologize to me. And he said, look, I appreciate everything you're doing for me so bad. I'm so sorry I stink. I was actually diagnosed with chronic swamp ass a while back before I was homeless. So I started feeling bad, and I'm just making conversation with old buddy. And I said, Tim, trash can Tim, what happened? Like, I used to hear stories about how you were just so intelligent and how you owned your own company and you were just so successful. What happened to get you to this point? And he got this smile on his face and he said, Bill, let me tell you something. There's a few things in this life that crank my engine, and that is nose nachos and loose women. And I spend every last dollar I had to get my fix on those two things. And what do you say to a man that has that kind of a demons? There's nothing you can say. I mean, Earl Jr., he has some problems, let me tell you. And he has spent his money on a whole bunch of ridiculous things. But even him, I mean, somebody who's so self-destructive, he didn't even go to a level like this. You would think that that's where he would be in life right now, is spending his money on cheap women and shoving things up his nostrils, but he's not. Anyways, so I have to stop at the gas station, and well, I asked old Tim if he needed anything, and he said, "Yeah, if you don't mind, I'm pretty hungry and I could use a drink." And I said, "Okay, well, get on inside and grab you a couple things, and I'll take care of you, and we'll get us back home and we'll hang out and get you settled." He gets inside. He grabs 6 Slim Jims, the big macho man ones, them thick boys, the long ones that are about $5 a piece. He grabs them, and then he grabs 2 cases of Bud Ice, and he puts them up on the counter. I said, "Hey, I don't really exactly have money to be just buying as many Slim Jims and beers as you could want." And he said, "Oh, it's okay. That's okay. The more you put in, the more you get out." They just kept on saying that. The more you put in, the more you get out. So I went ahead and paid for it. I know he's having a hard time, so I helped him carry it to the truck, and he immediately starts drinking in my truck. But I ain't nothing new. I do that all the time. I get him to the house, and I said, "All right, why don't you put your stuff down? Why don't you? I got a shower over yonder. There's some towels. They're the good ones. Mama let me have them. Excuse me. Now why don't you go take yourself a shower? Get yourself cleaned up. It's probably been a while since you've had a hot shower, right?" And he said, "Yes, sir. Yes, sir." He grabs him a towel and he goes in there. And I start hearing him hollering for me. I go on yonder, and I go to check on him. I'm trying not to look at him or invade his privacy, but he's in my shower, smoking a cigarette while showering, and asked me if I have a penny for him to use on his scratch offs. And he couldn't wait. He wanted to do them in the shower. I handed him my keys so he could use them. He used it, he scratched it off. And I'm like, okay, this is getting a little bit weird. He's trying to hang out with me in the bathroom while he's doing his business. So I'm like, all right, Tim, I'm going back in the living room now. You hear, you holler if you need anything. And I go out there, and I noticed that in one of his bags had been ripped open. There's garbage everywhere. There's a whole bunch of damn roaches all over my floor, and there's a possum sitting on my couch. He's smoking a cigarette too. And I grabbed the bag and I threw it outside on the porch and start trying to stomp some bugs. And by that time, Tim comes out and he's completely damn naked, didn't even dry off. I said, hey, you need to put a towel on that damn thing. I ain't trying to see no tallywhackers or anything. And he said, Bill, I don't use towels. I air dry. And I hope you understand, but that the towels break me out. Like I can't use them. So fine. If you're gonna walk around after shower naked, that's fine. But you need to sit in front of this fan and make it go faster. Cause I ain't looking at your wiener or your beehole. I'm not doing it. This is my house. You can take it outside if you want to do that shit. So he air dries, and I tell him, hey, buddy, you really need to get this situated, and your possum friend has to go outside. He said he understood. He grabbed his best stuff and he swept it up, and he told his possum buddy that he'd catch him around later, and for him to go on about his business outside. So he gets situated. He gets some clean. I gave him some clean clothes, and he sits down on the couch, and I handed him the remote, and I said, "Here you go, buddy. You find yourself something to watch. I don't care if you smoke or you drink in here or anything, but please try to clean up after yourself. Because if I don't allow the dirty dishes and garbage, and I just got rid of all the rats, and the roaches has been gone for a little bit now, and I'm trying to keep them gone. So just please clean up after yourself." They said, "Absolutely, Bill, no problem, buddy." And I said, "All right, now I'm going to work. You relax. Me casa su casa. Um, and if you need anything, my phone number is on a piece of paper on the fridge. You can use the landline and give me a call. And when I get back, we'll hang out, grab us a bite to eat or something." So I go to work, and I'm there for a couple hours, and my neighbor calls me pissed off. I look at my phone and I see Miles Hardwick, the neighbor. That's right, the one that is in charge of the neighborhood watch. He is calling my phone. I answer, "Hello, Shitty Bill. I don't know who you have in your trailer, but if you don't get down here and get this sorted out, I'm calling the police, and I know you got warrants." So I had to tell my boss that I had to leave, and he, I get clocked out, and I start to my truck, and then Earl Jr.'s calling me, and he said, "Hey, you really need to get to this house. You need to get to your trailer pronto. That little guy that you had staying in your trailer is throwing an absolute rager and has the biggest bonfire out in front of your yard that I've ever seen in my life. It's impressive as hell." So I floor it back home. And I get there, and Trash Can Tim has lit the garbage cans on fire. He's melted the siding off of my half wide. There's about 40 people in my half wide trailer, and all of them look to be of the homeless population. They smell so bad and are covered in what I could only explain as looking like human feces. So I get in and I'm pissed because Daddy had left me a bunch of Leonard Skinner vinyl records, and you know they're hard as hell to find, especially the originals. And this man and his trailer park hoodlum homeless people friends had been using them as frisbees, and half of them are shattered on the floor, and there's garbage everywhere, and there's about 10 raccoons and 5 possum all in the house, and there's shit in the floor, and there's garbage, and somebody wiped their ass on my couch, and my pillow looked like it had brown foot stains all over it, like somebody been walking around and jumping and whatnot, and hooting and hollering and acting a fool. And I said, "Hey," I said that you could stay here for a couple days, not that you could have a damn rager of a party whenever I go to work. And he said, "Hey, Bill, come on, live a little bit, buddy. Why don't you just sit back, get you a cold one, and enjoy the bonfire and the music?" I said, "Enjoy the bonfire and the music? Is that what you want?" And then I start picking up his bags of garbage and tossing them into the fire. And he starts screaming at me, and he's bucking his chest up. And he comes at me, and he's chest to stomach with me, and he goes, "You aren't big enough to be doing shit like that. I'm a guest in your house. You're supposed to treat me like one." And I said, "That's right. You are a guest in my house, and you need to get the hell out before I whoop your ass." He starts laughing at me, and Earl Jr.'s in the distance, and he's laughing too, not even trying to help me de escalate this situation, because why would he? Because he likes chaos. So Tim is in full on fighting stance, and I'm telling Tim, you don't want to do this, buddy. We don't have to take it this way. We don't have to do this. And he says that I've insulted his intelligence or something like that. He cold cock kicks me in the balls, and I go down like a sack of shit, and he punches me right in my mouth and leaves me laying, and goes back inside my trailer and starts partying. He's got hookers and blow and raccoons and possum in there, and there's garbage everywhere, and it smells like a whorehouse if it was in a pig pen. And I didn't know what the hell to do. So I did the only thing I could do is I called the police. And they come down yonder. They get to the trailer. And they said, "What seems to be the problem?" And I said, "Well, that little son of a bitch, he just kicked me in the balls, and broke my nose, and popped me in the mouth, and is having a rager in my trailer, and has absolutely destroyed everything." And they said, they pulled Tim out, and they said, "Is this true?" And he said, "Look, I only acted in self-defense. I was scared for my life. He's 300 pound plus, he, and I'm only 4 foot nothing, and I was scared for my life that he was gonna kill me." And I'm like, "You know that wasn't true." So the cop gets in my face and he says, "Hey, Bill, you need to calm the hell down." Now he's behind the cop making faces at me, going, acting like a little piece of shit. And I tried to go after him. I was mad as hell now. I was going to stomp him. And the cop pulls out a taser and he tases me. And I go down. I drop. And I see him out the corner of my eye just laughing, thinking it's absolutely hilarious. The cop says, "Are you done?" I said, "That's right, I'm done. Let me get back up. I'm done." So he says, "Look, we have a rule called squatter's right. It's a law. He's been living here for X amount of days. Legally, he belongs here. He does not have to leave. You're going to have to get eviction notice served to him to get him out of here, off your property." I'm going to move Bertha over here because I got a heater and I don't want her overheating. There we go. You just lay down over there, Bertha. Um, so I had to get a damn eviction notice and serve it to him. And then where the hell am I supposed to go in the meantime? I call everybody I know, and everybody says no, and I'm trying my hardest to avoid going to Earl's house. Surprise, surprise, that was where I ended up. And Earl let me stay on his couch. And Earl has 5 or 6 children. They was all running around and screaming and cussing and shooting in the house. And A3 would wait until I go to sleep, and he'd put a mousetrap between my legs and set it off. And absolute chaos in that house. And luckily, it only lasted for 7 days because I had the eviction notice served to old Tim, and I finally got him out of my house. But let me tell you, it ain't been the same. I mean, this half white's hit sideways now. There's a hole in the floor. It smells like a trash factory, and I'm having to restart from scratch. I mean, he bought in rats the size of my head that I just can't get a hold of. I'm terrified as hell of them, and they rule the roost now. And this is their house now. Tim's gone. It's been a couple of weeks since I seen him, but I did eventually run into him, and I tried to avoid him. But he starts throwing his hand, trying to holler at me, and just like the good Christian man I am, I stopped him just to see if he needed any help, and he said, "Bill, I just want to apologize to you for doing you dirty like that. I know that you spent a lot of your hard earned cash to get yourself that half wide and keep it looking nice and all that. I just want to let you know that you and your mama ain't going to be seeing me around here much more, 'cause I got me a scratch off ticket and I won the lottery." I said, "You won the damn lottery? How much you win?" He told me he won $1 million. And I said, "You want to hand me some of that money so that I can fix up my trailer? Or hell, get me a new one at that." He said, "You know what? I was thinking about you, and I am going to give you a little something." He pulls out $200, hands it to me, and then walks away. And what I seen next was absolutely mind blowing. Talking about he jumped right inside a Tesla truck with a model looking lady and drove away. And this trailer park ain't seen him since. And honestly, sometimes you start thinking about a person like that that has a notorious reputation or behavior amongst your neighborhood or your society or whatever you want to call it. It kind of starts seeming like maybe this person's a myth, or maybe it was a fever dream or something, because it was a lot. And let me tell you though, that was the last damn time I ever listened to Mama or let her make me feel guilty. 'Cause I ain't doing it no more. That's the last time I ever let anybody stay in my house ever again. If you aren't related, and that's a heavy consideration. If you're not related, you cannot stay in old Shitty Bill's trailer no more. Don't ask. I don't want to have to tell you no, so just don't ask. This is why you have to really think things through on who you let stay with you, who you let move in, who you loan your stuff to, who you give some money to, because things can become a problem. And I want to thank you guys for tuning in to another shitty day with Shitty Bill. I hope you've been staying warm. It's been cold as hell outside. Um, I'm currently sitting beside my heater. I'm about to go eat me some sushi from Circle K, the best place to get sushi from. Me and Earl Jr. are going to go down to the pool hall later and shoot us some pool and drink us a couple cold ones and see what we can get into. I'm back living in my half wide. I have a couple dozen cans of air freshener, and everything's going to be okay. So, thank you for watching. Please subscribe. Please share this with anybody and everybody you know. I'm trying my hardest to get it going. I'm trying to get some new guests on here, and we're going to be okay. I'll see you next time. I love yous, but share this with your granny, your mama, your auntie, and anybody else who you think is having a shitty day, and then tell them that we're going to have one together.